Welcome to the 5% Club podcast, the space where ambitious leaders go to master their careers and their lives. I'm Shayla King, a former C-suite executive turned performance and happiness coach. And this is the podcast for leaders who want it all. The promotions, the paychecks, and luxurious amounts of time for what matters most. Each week, I'll teach you how to work less, make more, and design a life you love. Let's go. Welcome back to the 5% Club podcast. I'm Shayla King, your favorite executive coach. And today we're kicking off a powerful two-part series, How to Lead Meetings Like a 5% Executive. And I'm recording today from beautiful Cancun, where we've been for 2 weeks. We have a lovely 3-bedroom Airbnb that is part of this condo resort. So it has the rooftop pools, the pool by the ocean. It has the stand-up paddle boards and kayaks and just everything that you would want, and barely any people. It's almost like I don't know, sometimes it's creepy. I've done videos where I go out in the morning and I'm the only person at the whole resort. It's wild. But it's really nice when your life is normally busy and crazy and pretty full to have it be so relaxing. But 2 weeks is a bit much. I'm ready to have some more people around me and be doing things. Anyhow, I hope you are all somewhere lovely right now as well and are enjoying your summer and getting in some good family memories. So let's jump in. We are going to talk about how to lead meetings like a 5% executive. And so before I became a full-time coach, I was a C-suite executive leading billion-dollar deals, M&A deals, and running the people strategy for global organizations. I've been in a lot of executive rooms, and I know what it looks like when someone walks in and owns it. And I know what it looks like when someone shows up almost like they're playing dress up, just hoping not to get caught. So in this 2-part series, I'm going to teach you the difference. Part 1 is all about mindset, what you need to believe before you walk into the room so that you're not spiraling, shrinking, or second guessing. Part 2 will be all about strategy, how to prepare, what to say, and how to structure your message so you sound like the most powerful version of yourself. But today, we start with your brain. Because I've said this before, the most successful and happiest people know how to manage their mind. And so this matters when we think about executive presence, how you're showing up, and how you're presenting. It starts with what you think, not what you wear, although that can be important too. All right, if you've ever walked into a big meeting and found yourself over-explaining your work, talking way too fast, trying to prove your value, or secretly hoping no one asked you a tough question, this episode is for you. We'll break down how to shift out of insecurity and into calm, clear leadership energy before you ever speak a word. All right, first, I want you to understand a mindset concept that will help you for this episode and help you apply it to your real daily life. It is called intentional thought creation. So intentional thought creation, it's a core coaching practice that I teach you that helps you become aware of the unhelpful thoughts you're believing and replace them with ones that serve you. So let's say you're preparing to present to your executive team and your brain starts offering you things like, they're going to pick this apart. I'm not ready. I'm the most junior person in the room. I hope that they take me seriously. I don't know if they will. I'm so nervous. These people are so smart. They have so much more experience than me. If you go in with those thoughts running the show, you're going to show up as nervous or defensive, rushed, or apologetic. But if you pause and practice intentional thought creation, you might choose thoughts like, they want to hear from me. I'm the foremost expert at this at our company. I'm not here to convince. I'm here to contribute. I'm prepared, and I know my stuff. And if they ask me something I don't know, I'll find the answer. It's not a problem. When you tell yourself those thoughts, you show up differently. You speak clearly. You'll breathe more. You'll make eye contact. And you'll sound like the executive leader that you're becoming. All right, let's talk about the 3 mindset shifts to present like a 5% executive. First, stop trying to prove you belong. Proving energy always feels insecure or desperate. Executive energy feels certain. You don't need to prove that you belong because you already do. So try out some of these thoughts instead. I am meant to be in this room. They already believe I'm qualified. I don't need to resell myself. I'm not here to earn my seat. I'm here to contribute from it. Belonging isn't something I prove. It's something I am. Trying to prove I belong only distracts from the value I bring. They want to hear what I have to say. I don't need to talk unless I can truly add value. Okay? When you're stuck in proving mode, your brain is scanning the room for disapproval. You're actually looking at reasons to reconfirm that belief. It's a neuroscience thing. It's about the fact that our brain loves congruency. So whatever we expect to happen, our brain scans for ways to prove that's the truth. So instead, you want to have those positive thoughts ahead of time so that you're scanning for all of those things that make you feel like you're a natural part of the team, that make you feel confident, and that make you feel secure enough that you don't have to jump in and prove. I've talked about this energy before, and it's basically like I'm, kind of antsy and I'm leaning forward and I'm like jumpy and I'm waiting so I can say something so that you can know I'm smart. All right. I want you guys to notice that in conference rooms that you're in this week, you will find the person who is on the edge of their seat, ready to jump out and say something so that they can show their value. That is not what executives do. Executives lean back, listen, and try to help the organization come up with the best decision. That is the difference. And so when you're stuck in proving mode, your brain is scanning the room for disapproval and you're anticipating judgment instead of owning your value. You may start rambling, over-explaining, speaking really quickly, deferring unnecessarily, and that's not leadership, that's fear. So we are going to own our thoughts about the fact that we are in that room for a reason and that it's not our last time there. You don't have to get out everything in that one time to prove that you deserve it. Instead, add value when it makes sense. Let other people talk first. If you have a point, see if it gets brought up. If it does, great, you can let it go. If it doesn't and it's meaningful, contribute. But not out of necessity, out of just knowing that you're able to add value. Make sense? All right, number 2, stop trying to convince. I was the worst at this. At Boeing, I was kind of taught to persuade and get my presentation perfect. And the goal was that we had reviewed it so many times with internal leadership that there should be no question that we can't answer from leadership when we present. And we should have looked down every single rabbit hole there is and make sure that we have already investigated it and we know this is the right decision and we're here to prove it, right? There's a massive difference between convincing your audience to go with your proposal and partnering with them to make the best decision for your business. I got this feedback when I came to Coke Industries, and they said to me, Shayla, it's almost like you're trying to convince us. I was like, well, yeah, isn't that my job? Isn't that what I'm supposed to be doing? No. You know what I was supposed to be doing? Not trying to win. I was supposed to be making the best decision for the business. And what that looks like is coming in the room and saying, hey, I'm getting ready to make a really big decision. And before I do, I want to make sure it's the best one. So I want your input on this. I want your experience. I want to hear what else I should be considering as part of this. And that is one of the greatest lessons that I learned at Coke Industries. And what's so ironic is I was friends with my husband for 4 years at work before we ever started dating. And he was the one who said it in that way. I'm getting ready to make a really big decision, and I don't want to make the wrong one. And it just hit me like, oh my God, that is such a different approach than what I've been taking, right? And so He has a background in economics and had been at Coke he's been there like 30 years now, right? And leads the finance team. And he just took such a different approach. And it was night and day to how I had been trying to prove and convince to I can let down all my guard. I don't have to be right. I don't have to have every question already answered. I can come in with the amount of information and research that we've done so far, which also keeps you from wasting a lot of time in trying to be right and perfect. And I can bring it to a group of people with more experience or differentiated experience than me. They can help me make the best decision for the business. Right? So, number 2 is stop trying to convince and instead have your goal be to help the business make the best decision. And it doesn't mean it's always your proposal. Right? So some of the thoughts you can try instead of I need to prove my idea. I don't want to have any questions ever asked that I don't know the answer to. I don't want to look like I was stupid or made the wrong proposal. Lose those thoughts and try ones like I've done work to get us here. Now I'm inviting perspective. My job is to present clearly and to ask for feedback in a challenge process, not to push aggressively. I'm not here to win. I'm here to help facilitate a conversation so we can make the best decision for the company. I trust the people in the room that we're all on the same page, on the same team, and trying to do what's best for the business. We're on the same team making the best decision together. See how different that is? It's here's what we found, here's our recommendation. But before we move forward, I want to get your input, especially around risks I may not be close to. I want to make sure we're aligned on the best decision for the business. That's calm, that's collaborative. That's what a 5% executive sounds like. All right, number 3, slow down. Fast talkers often signal fear, immaturity, even if they know what they're doing. Executive presence starts with the ability to slow down and let the room come to you. So one of the things that I still to this day remind myself of is that people want to hear my story. They want to hear what I have to say. I don't need to rush it. I used to be so worried about wasting an executive's time that I would be like, okay? And they'd be like, what? What? I'd be like, sorry to interrupt you. I just need you to know real quick. I don't know if you saw my email, but I just need your approval on this thing. And it's just this. Okay, thank you so much. Sorry to bug you. What? The opposite of executive, right? I'm not going to talk just to talk. But when I say something, I am not rushed. I am not hurried. I am going to say the information that I think needs to be said and then ask a question and then pause. I do not have to go fast. And when you do, it's when your cortisol level is up there. It's normally from these negative thoughts. I don't belong in the room. I don't want to waste their time. I don't want to talk too long. Whatever it is that is giving you that anxiety, that's making you feel like you don't belong, that's raising your heart rate. It's raising your cortisol level, and it's making you talk fast. So intentional thought creation is so important to help you slow down. Another random trick is you can blow on your thumb, and it can help you reduce your heart rate, and it can help you slow down before a big presentation. All right, so here are some for us fast talkers. And if you're naturally a fast talker, listen, I get it. I'm probably one of the only podcasts you don't listen to on 1.25 or 1.5 because I naturally talk fast. But when I am going to present, I have to remind myself to slow down. I have to pause for inflection when it's important. And there are a bunch of skills that we can learn, that we can talk through around how to give the best presentations, from hand gestures and voice changing to being high and low and fast and slow, right? And there's a bunch of that animation that can actually be really impactful. But the main thing that I see go wrong is that leaders are rushed. And when they're rushed, they do not look like executives. They look like beginners. They look nervous. They look like, oh, let's go. I need to give him a pep talk afterwards and let him know we really appreciated his presentation. You don't want people to think about you like that. You wanted to think about, damn, that was good. I really liked John's presentation today. Yeah, I'm actually surprised he isn't, already at this level. We should invite him to present more often. I really loved his approach because there wasn't ego there. He wasn't trying to prove. He knew his stuff and just asked for our guidance. That's what an executive looks like. You want them to think about you like that, not that you were rushed and not ready. So try some of these thoughts instead. I was invited here for a reason. I bring value with every word. There's no rush. Calm is contagious. I go first. Speaking slowly gives my ideas more weight. Speaking slowly gives my ideas more weight. They want to hear from me. I belong at this table. When you slow down, people lean in. You sound more confident. You create space for your ideas to land. And most importantly, you remind yourself that your presence is just as powerful as your points. All right, now I gave you some thoughts you can think about under these 3 categories, but for your Evolve work, I want you to come up with them for yourself and say, what are the best thoughts that will help me with these 3? So let's recap what our 3 are. Do you remember? We first learned about intentional thought creation and how choosing our thoughts changes everything. Then we talked about 3 points. First, stop trying to prove you belong. Second, stop trying to convince. And third, slow down. All right? It just started like torrential downpour here in Cancun. So I don't know if you can hear the rain in the background or not, but it's beautiful from my large patio deck. I wonder if I can show you. Let me try. There we go. I don't know how much of that you could see, but it's absolutely gorgeous view. We are like ocean front room here, and have this giant patio that's amazing to look at the beach or the rain. So anyhow, let's finalize this by just a couple of reminders for you. You are going to be able to dramatically change your executive presence through this series. So first part today, we talked about your mindset and the thoughts that you need to have to come into the room feeling calm, poised, confident, and looking like a mature strategic executive. So write down the thoughts that help you stay in all 3 of those areas so that you can be sure that when you walk into your next presentation, that you are not talking too fast, not trying to prove, and stop and not trying to convince. And so if this resonated with you, I want you to drop a 5-star review for us, please. It's the best way for us to get in front of even more leaders to help with these tips that take you from middle management to the executive level. And you can always go to shaylaking.com to join the waitlist. I am currently full, and we have closed our Performance and Happiness Lab. But if you get on the waitlist, you'll be the first to know when either my one-on-one coaching spots open up or the Performance and Happiness Lab opens up again. And so I just want you to remember every powerful presentation starts in your brain. If you want to show up like an executive, don't just rehearse your slides, rehearse your mindset. In part 2 of this series, I'll walk you through the strategic side of executive meetings, what to prepare, how to structure your message, and exactly what to say when the pressure is on. So don't miss it. We'll be back next week with that one. And send this to any friend that you know that also wants to get to the executive level or work on their presentation skills. All right, y'all, you are here to lead, and I am here to show you how. Your coach, cheerleader, and accountability partner, Shayla. And let's evolve together. Thanks for joining me in the 5% Club today. If you're ready to work less, make more, and design a life you love, go to shaylaking.com to join the 5% Club waitlist. Each Monday, I'll send you something you can implement immediately, and you'll be the first to know when applications open for the Performance and Happiness Lab, my group training program designed to accelerate you into a happy, confident executive who loves their whole life. See you there.